so good.
Welcome back to the Wine About Birth podcast. We are three birth professionals
And best friends.
and we're here to talk about what it's really like to live in the world of birth.
It's not all glitter and rainbows.
Or as we like to say, it's a lot more kids than giggles.
Literally, we just started. They've been fine all day.
I'm Kim Haynes, midwife at a busy birth center. We're going to stop it. Are you serious right now? What's up?
Did my package come yet?
Yes, and I put it...
Two. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Been better.
Welcome back to the Wine About Birth podcast. We are three birth professionals.
And best friends.
And we're here to talk about what it's really like to live in the world of birth.
It's not all glitter and rainbows.
Or as we like to say, it's a lot more shit than giggles. I'm Kim Haynes, midwife at a busy birth center, and getting very busy home birth practice.
True. I'm Meredith, also midwife at the busier home birth practice.
And I'm Jess McKee. I'm a doula for clients in and out of the hospital and also a birth assistant with you guys at our awesome out-of-hospital practice.
Yeah.
What do we want to say first?
Happy New Year!
Woo woo! The
that was-
dumpster fire of
We
2021 is over.
And
Finally over.
2022 has begun again.
So much is happening.
It's gonna be like New Girl. It's the year of us.
Yeah.
Us.
Honestly, 22 is my favorite number, so I actually am not trying to have high expectations, but I also am really excited for this year.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, we have finally begun YouTubing.
As
So,
you can see.
As you can see, and it's so funny because we had all these like hopes and dreams of like a beautiful putting everything up and being in the office, but then I realized my kids don't go back to school until Wednesday.
It seems like they're never going back. I
Never.
feel like they've
It's
been
fine.
home for months.
And as you can see in the video, you can't see it out there listening, but in the YouTube video you can see that we finally started after a month.
Yeah.
And then Evie came in, so we had to
Yeah.
restart.
Well, we've been sitting at your house literally all day
Talking
talking,
for
and
like
they
2
have ignored
hours.
us the entire time.
They've been outside the entire time.
and as soon as we hit record,
Yeah.
Evie walks in.
It's
Like
the
within
same.
1 second.
So the video is a joke. There's no lighting. I had to add a light bulb.
We
in
weren't
my
trying
bed.
to make it a joke. It just happened
It
to be
happened.
a joke. Oh, look, you can see a really cute picture with Chuck.
Yes,
in the
we're in my
back.
bed. The treadmill, the notorious treadmill is in it. There's a
Yeah.
picture. All of Chuck's hunting gear is to Jessica's right.
There's
but
also a hat that says more balls than brains on it, and I really want to put that
that's
on when we
Chuck's
stop
motorcycle
recording.
helmet.
Oh, he got stickers for it. Charming.
So anyway, the
I want-
next video is going to be better.
I want to
Very.
take a second to say thank you to Anna for this
Yay!
amazing bottle
Oh, we haven't
of
had any yet.
wine. Yeah.
She wrote a really sweet message on it. I thought it was part of the label, but it's a handwritten note, which is really sweet.
Love
and
it.
she has amazing taste in wine.
That Meredith will never know.
I'm on call right now.
Yeah.
So she's being an a-hole.
I'm not. So I have a mimosa from Mary. Thank you.
Also, Mary, you should have put Merry Christmas for your mimosa
Not Merry
label.
Christmas,
Because
yeah.
we really appreciated that.
It was perfect and I loved it.
Yeah. But we just thought it would be funny. Play on words.
So we're getting some new lighting. We're going to do all of that and we'll have a better backdrop. And
Let me clarify. People are buying us new lighting because we're so cheap that they know we never will, so they're doing it for us.
Well, Katie bought it for me for my course. I'm
That's
just
very
going to use
sweet.
it.
So it's not actually for us.
Okay, so what kind of cool stuff can we talk about? Because we're finally back.
Yeah, so we actually haven't seen each other very much in the last month either. We took a break for the holidays.
From each other.
You guys have done better hanging out than I have recently.
I mean, it wasn't just from each other, but it was
From
one of those
life.
times where, so I went to Mexico, and then when I got back from Mexico, Meredith was in Atlanta helping her friend have a baby, and then when she was gone, Kim left and went to spend time with her family in Tennessee
Yeah,
for
it's been
Christmas.
amazing.
Yeah, that's true. Y'all just keep missing each other. It's the
So-
holidays.
We had some drama when Jess was in Mexico,
Are we-
but we'll share that
talking
story.
about that?
We'll share that story later.
It's not going to be anything that you haven't heard before.
Yeah.
So do we have any big announcements we want to make right now, or do you want to save all those for our up-and-coming transitions episode?
I think we can save it for our transitions
Yeah,
episode.
we have a whole episode
We'll
coming
build up
up.
excitement about all of our life transitions and
Yeah,
how
so-
we balance birth work.
Yes, and all three of us are going through a transition right now. Every one of us, and we're going to talk all about those next
I
week.
feel like we've been alluding to this episode for months.
Well, when you're in a transition, it's really hard, and you don't really want to like focus on the
Or
transition.
also, it's like really hard to know when to tell people too.
Also, that's true.
that you're transitioning.
Well, hopefully that's an easy conversation for people, but that's only in a perfect world, which we don't live in. So,
well, Meredith, why don't we talk a little bit about the things that we did for our break?
yeah.
So, I will give a real quick, so Mexico was amazing. I spent time on a resort. I ate so much wonderful food. I was there with Haley.
Did you know she had sushi at her damn resort?
I did.
Like food bar every
buffet.
single day.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I went with Haley from Beluga Baby, one of our favorite
Yeah.
sponsors.
Oh, we didn't tell you the hilarious thing that was happening when we first got here. I was on the phone with Alice. She was on the phone with Haley.
Yeah.
And so as we get off our cars, I'm like, oh, are you on a phone call too? She's like, yeah. I was like, I'm talking to Alice. She's like, I'm talking to Haley. So we just like put them both on speaker photo with the four of us. Just did like a little conference in your driveway.
Aw, I missed it.
It was very sweet.
So I went to Mexico with her, and we had the most amazing time. I mean, I know everybody out there knows that I like to skinny dip, but I will say that we had this amazing skinny dipping night where we were skinny dipping in the ocean.
And there was like cliffs, like the photos you
Yeah.
showed, the video you showed
This
was
one,
amazing.
but it was also during a meteor shower, so there was like shooting
cool.
stars overhead while we were skinny dipping.
What
in
a
the
way to
ocean.
start the new year.
I know. I mean, it was
Oh.
technically before the new year, so I was
Starting a new year.
the
ending
old
a
year.
shitty year and starting a new beautiful one.
Yeah.
It was transitioning into the new
It
year.
was transitioning into the new year.
Can we make this a drinking game? Every time we say the word transition, you guys have to take a drink.
Probably.
Since you won't let me drink, someone call.
Yeah. And then I also spent 4 days on an island called Isla Mujeres, and I went swimming with dolphins.
Of course you did.
I went
Did you
snorkeling.
swim out to them like a lunatic?
No, I actually paid to
Oh,
go
okay.
swimming with dolphins.
Oh, I was going to say most people have to pay for that, but I guess you did as well.
I know, I paid for it. Totally worth it. I got kissed on the cheek by a dolphin. It was adorable.
It sounds like my nightmare. I feel like
They drag you around? No, it sounds like your
Yeah.
nightmare.
Well,
Why?
yeah.
Sawyer did, right?
Yeah, Sawyer did. Sawyer grabbed onto its fins and it swam with her.
I only like the ocean to my knees.
That's true.
You know what's in
There's
there.
a beach attached to
I
it.
feel like if I paid to do the dolphin thing, first off, I would never. I don't like nature up close, but it would be that one time where suddenly the dolphin went rabid and it would like clamp down on my throat and
Or there would be dolphin rape.
blood. Yeah, or I get raped by a dolphin. I don't want to be raped by a dolphin.
Yeah, that's like
I had a
thing.
friend once that I told that story about how I swam out to the middle of the ocean to swim with the dolphins, and he was like, "You do know dolphin rape's a thing, right?" And I was like, "Oh, thanks."
Listen, Matt, my brother, went through this when we were in Florida.
He got raped by a dolphin.
Yes, no, but he did talk about it a lot. He was fascinated by this whole idea.
I feel like we talk about this a lot. It's definitely been on the podcast more than
Yeah.
once so far.
I don't know. It's a lot.
I mean,
So-
I would say it would be a
Anywho.
lot if you got raped by a dolphin.
I mean, I would definitely tell the entire world about it.
Yeah.
You know,
You could be YouTube famous.
I could.
So then you went to Atlanta. Do you want to give us any
Oh my gosh,
updates
I
on
feel
what
like I
happened
could
in
talk about
Atlanta?
that forever. No, it was amazing. So one of my really dear friends, we say we met in high school, but we actually met a little bit later, but she's magical. So one of my oldest friends, she and my other really good friend got together, and now they're having a baby.
Or they had a baby.
Yeah, they had a baby. And
Once, and then do they still have a baby?
yes, they still have a beautiful baby. And they live in Atlanta, so I drove the 10-hour drive down to Atlanta to attend their birth because she ended up getting induced last minute. And so I drove down for that. And then we had a crazy, beautiful, messy, demanding 3-day labor in the hospital.
You sound like you were describing me for a second.
You are like a 3-day labor, Kim. You're a hot mess.
I know.
So yeah, it was amazing. She did so well, and I've never used so much spinning babies in my entire life to get this kid out. And they just like had their own story, as often happens. And we ended up doing an epidural and Pitocin, which wasn't originally in the plan, but ended up being one of the situations where like I'm like, girl, please, like
Yeah.
it's an amazing tool. I think it's gonna work wonders for you. And I feel like we talked a lot beforehand about how hard it is to protect a natural birth in the hospital and how important it is to just like feel empowered along the way. And so much of trauma comes from like not feeling like you had control necessarily, rather than just like what happened. And so even though things didn't go the way she wanted necessarily, she had such a great care team. Like considering they wanted to induce her for reasons that were a little like gray, I was a little worried about that. But she had the best nurses and midwives
That
on
makes
staff
all
for
the
her.
difference.
Yeah, and they just like let us keep going. Like, I kept waiting for them to, like, pull the trigger on all these all these different interventions, and they just, like, let us keep going, and it was really wonderful.
I think that was an interesting experience for you, because you've done the majority of your work seeing out of hospital stuff.
Right, yeah, even when I was...
if you see it, it's like you transfer
after we've done like a 3-day labor at the center. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's interesting. It was interesting for you to be like the dual role and see a hospital birth from start to finish.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the norm, but I was shocked by how many things they would let slide.
Yeah,
like I kept waiting for them to like be scared for something to happen, and then needing to like do something really hardcore, and they just kept stepping back, and I was like, okay, well, I would have transferred and expected something drastic for this, but whatever. But yeah, it was great, and I feel like she just did such a phenomenal job. Like, I don't know how she kept going, but she did. And I think ultimately we still only slept for like 2 hours and those entire 3 days.
Oh my gosh.
But she just kept going, and like my favorite part was a new nurse came on, and we like really appreciated the first nurse, but the second one just, you know, like had new energy. We're like, oh no, we're getting this baby out of your vagina, like this is happening. And so she came on with all this fun energy, and at that point she'd gotten the epidural, and so she just like came in, and we just like flipped my friend like in every possible, we did Welchers, like whatever.
Wow.
That, yeah.
While she had an epidural? That's awesome.
Which was like so much better than doing it without an epidural. And so, like, she just, like, we were just, like, all over the place, and our friend just, like, my friend just, like, would do everything, you know, she was amazing. And then, my friend just kept being like, I feel like I have to poop, and I'm like, yeah, like, that's your baby coming down, that's awesome, like, keep going with it.
And then she pooped.
But then they kept telling her not to push, and my friend was like, I can't help it, like, even with an epidural, she felt so much pressure.
Yeah.
And so finally she was like, girl, you're just gonna catch this baby for me because I can't stop. I was like, yeah, just do your thing.
Yeah.
Like, and she was so, like, she's such a gentle spirit. Like, you couldn't tell she was pushing because she just felt like she was breathing. But then the nurse walked in after we did Welchers. Is it Welchers or Welchers, Jess? Welchers, okay.
Yeah.
And
so
this
wait,
much...
for the record, Welchers is a spinning babies move that you use when you have a baby that's really high and could be kind of like their head over your pubic bone. So keeping your baby from coming down.
It's kind of like the last resort you use to get a baby under a pubic bone because it's so uncomfortable.
Into the pelvis, yeah.
Yeah, and so she's feeling all this pressure, and we finally flip her back and put her like in a supported squat in the bed, and then you could see like for the video like this much of the baby's head, like she'd already breathed the baby
like
down.
For the people
so she was pushing, and
so
the baby was coming. And,
yeah, and then they still told her not to push, and I was like,
oh my gosh,
no, we've been here for 3 days, like nope. And so
we're getting this baby out.
Yeah, and so anyways, it was great. She had a beautiful vaginal birth. She didn't push super long, and like her husband is a really dear friend of mine too, and he just like afterwards like looked at me and went like, wow, this is beautiful. And I was just like, that's so, like, it was just like such an authentic and like sincere response to a very intense situation.
And then you got to help postpartum.
And then I stayed for 5 days postpartum, which was like its own crazy journey because baby had a really gnarly lip tie or tongue tie. But it was just wild to see the differences in like care in Virginia versus care in Georgia. Like, we just went to the pediatrician 2 days later, and I went with her husband so that she could stay home and rest because they live on the 3rd floor of an apartment building with stairs, and they just snipped it in the office. And I feel like in Virginia, you can't find that anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was great. So minus that little like hiccup that made things kind of hard, like it was such a beautiful time together, and they like. I don't know, they're just really beautiful people, and they can't turn off their host brains, so they kept like trying to do stuff for me, and then finally on day 3 they just crashed, and I was like, thank you, like this is what I needed you to do since day 1.
You kept texting like, why won't they let me help while I'm here? Why won't they just rest? They don't even know what's coming. And I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, but they're doing amazing, and I'm like so I like can't even put into words how crazy it is to like get to support people that you've known for that long through that process and like witness that next journey, and they're people that I know will like keep doing these big life things together with, so it's like really special.
I love that.
And how cool is it that you like that's not the first friend that you have gone like
I'm
you
really
all the
lucky.
way across the country.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say they're lucky to have you because I mean, who does that?
I feel like people do that sometimes.
Who?
You, me.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
gonna say, you
Jess
guys
did
have
that.
done that for each other for
You
sure.
did it too. You did. Oh, I did it too. Okay.
I have to
Yes.
say, like,
I guess we're all great.
I do more than I do like feel like very lucky because I know there will be a chapter of life where I don't get to do that. I can't just like up and go away for a week at a time, right? But I do feel really lucky that I've gotten to do that this year. That's the choice. That's the second one this year I've done.
That's amazing.
So it's been a really cool year.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Kim, do you want to talk a little bit about your Christmas trip for?
Yeah, it was just fun. It was the first time that me and all three of my brothers were together in 10 years at the same time.
Long.
Yeah, I mean, we see each other
Fairly often.
yeah. But since COVID, I hadn't seen Matt and Carly at all. I saw Kyle and May when we went to Seattle, and Brian was staying with us for a month, but it's like we were all together, and it was just like we're always together. Like, we took over, they have a ping pong table downstairs.
I love ping pong.
God, me too. So we just kept having all these ping pong tournaments, and do you know who won every time?
You?
Dave.
Really?
Oh, of course, Dave's a ping pong
Apparently,
champion.
Dave played tennis. And
Dave is her mom's boyfriend.
Dave is like the secret
life
weapon
partner.
of their family.
Life partner.
I say life partner because he loves that term so
Life
much.
lover.
So it was just so
Lover.
funny because we're like, and I will say, we were together that whole time, and I didn't drink at all.
Yeah, but not by choice.
Not by choice. That's a whole other story, but.
Should we talk about that in the
God,
transition?
yeah,
That
let's
could be
talk
the
about
transitions
transitions.
episode.
Listen, I went 2 weeks with
We're
no
hot.
alcohol.
Or food.
Hot
Or
mess.
food.
Listen.
And I weigh exactly the same now as I did before.
Just because your boobs and your fat are so glorious,
It's
they're
fine.
not going anywhere.
I will say, like, we are talking about all this fun we had, like, Mexico, Atlanta.
Oh, it
we
was
went up here.
one of the
We-
messiest chapters of our friendship,
Hot,
for sure.
hot mess, man. Such a hot mess.
Here we are still together. But listen, we would play like ping pong, and Brock was so funny. He's like itty bitty, but he was really good at it. But he would be like bing, bing. So he kept jumping because he's too short to like get. So he would hit the ball and jump like 3 times, and then hit the ball and then jump. But he kept jumping back and forth like a tiny little something. It
I
was
really
so
think you
neat.
need to watch your like hand gestures when you're videotaping.
No, I think you
it.
definitely
Sorry.
should keep doing
No,
that.
I'm not gonna do that.
You should
So
definitely
we're-
keep doing
so
that.
Especially
we're all
now when
like-
you're talking about your 8-year-old
It's-
son, 6-year-old
Listen,
son.
you
I don't
have
even know how old your
How
kids
old
are
is he?
anymore.
7?
He'll be 8
Okay.
in March.
Okay,
So
that's
we're
close.
all like, you know,
He's still 40.
sliding and trying our best, and drunk Matt's like all over, and then here comes Dave, and he's like, like every movement he
He's
had,
just like yawning while he
it
does
was like so beautiful. I was like, Dave, your form is impeccable, and he's like, well, I did play tennis back in the day, and he would have
And
all these
also,
like.
he also has a ping pong table in his basement against the wall that he practices with himself all the
Probably.
time.
So we just did board games and ping pong for like and tournaments for like 5 days, and it was awesome.
I loved your pictures you sent. Those were really
Oh,
sweet.
that was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of silliness.
So we just had a good time. It was just fun. All
Yeah.
3 of us.
Yeah.
That was a good break. I'm glad we took that time off.
We did need that.
We did need that. I'm glad we got away from each other for some time.
Not, I don't know.
Just as uncomfortable.
But so there was a lot of work going on too. I actually had almost the entire month of December off. I purposely did not take on clients because I knew I was going to Mexico. But so that was really nice. I felt like I really needed that.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys, like, you had a lot of births while
Oh,
I
You
was
had a
yeah.
gone,
ton,
didn't you?
yeah.
I worked a lot. I had a lot of babies. I think I've had, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many babies I've had since we recorded last, but enough to fill a whole episode when we do our
totally.
We're
next
just gonna
episode.
do a whole
Do
birth
that.
stories
But I
episode.
had like, I did transfer one mom who was like amazing, and we can talk about it at a different time. But besides that transfer, and that was like, it wasn't even like, if she still had a vaginal birth, and she still, you know, worked really hard, and it was like awesome. But besides that one transfer, it was all my births were like,
Butter.
oh my gosh, it was like the baby came out 29 minutes after we got to the center, or not even. Like
less than.
Yeah, like the mom that I kept talking about that I was telling you, it was our 4th baby together. She had her baby.
Yeah, I can't believe I heard that story.
Such a good story. Like, it's just, It's been really nice.
I feel like you needed that. We all needed that because there has been a lot of stress happening.
So much.
Well, I want to say, like, reverse for me. I can't remember, because you always talk about, like, Linden Tree clients, like, drama. I'm like, girl, we've had the easiest birth for Linden Tree. Like, it's been so easy.
It's not drama. They're just all like you. They're just all
not.
sweet, emotional people.
They're very sweet people. But yeah, I was like at my friend's birth. I was like, I can't remember the last time I had a 3-day labor. Like I can't. Like it made me feel really lucky to do what I do because I cannot remember the last time.
Every birth I've assisted for.
Yeah,
our
super. We've had super great births.
I feel like we're jinxing ourselves now.
There's no such thing. I still think it's okay to acknowledge how lucky we are, though. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I feel very lucky to have had the clients we've had for Linden Tree because it's been so great. I know we're gonna have it thrown off at some point because the universe is gonna balance a little bit.
But that's just normal.
Yeah. So, anyways,
it's
also I'm thankful for births and how they've been going.
Yeah. So I do feel like, because we've been talking a lot about the podcast, and so 2021, even 2020, the whole COVID thing, like we got really thrown off, and so we've decided that we're going to make 2022 the year that
we get our shit
get this
together,
thing off the ground, get it together. So I will say, like, my goals for the next month.
So tighten up.
Tighten up. Like a Kegel.
Just bring it in. Not so much lose it. Just tighten it.
Tighten it. So yeah, I'm working on going back and making some changes on all of our episodes so we can add in different ads. Add in ads that are not just
ads.
Yeah.
We'll get better lighting. We're actually ordering more equipment so that our YouTube videos can work
We're just
out.
trying to
also recording consistently.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen.
It's a good goal.
So we're trying to just like get more professional. I feel like it's the year where, you know, our podcast has been doing so well and has been like so popular, but it's like I feel like we're just on like the edge of that precipice where it's either going to go big.
I think we needed to prove to ourselves too that like it was like we needed a couple years to like realize that this has real potential and like
I will
realize
keep threatening
that
to quit though.
Yeah, that's
all
fair.
the time. Yeah, she's gonna keep doing that.
That's fine.
I wanted to make a shout out. I know we've done this in a couple episodes last year, but I wanted to make a shout out to a new place that all of a sudden has been listening.
Like a new country?
No, it's a new town. So we keep talking all the time about how Council Bluffs is our top listener.
Ooh, did someone surpass them?
Yeah, so we have listeners that I've never even noticed this place on our listening list before. It's a place called Goose Creek.
Huh.
And
it sounds like a novel.
For like the past month.
It sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for like the past month, there's been like even more listeners than Council Bluffs.
Ooh. So Goose Creek, who are you?
Yeah.
Tell us your story.
Who?
I'm honestly, I feel like there's other people who listen to our podcast who also do podcasts. Are like, those dumbasses. Like, those are just like random computer stats. Like, that they think they're the shit because this many people are listening in Goose Creek. But
it's not that we think we're the shit. We just want to say hi to them.
Just want to say hi to them.
So if you do exist and you're not just like a computer generated number, please let us know.
The last time we said that, someone wrote from the Bahamas and was like, hey.
And from, we also got an email from Council Bluffs. Yeah.
So there, Meredith.
I know, I'm just saying, like, that would be hilarious.
And I just wanted to say, like, this week alone, and I want to do, like, the last year recap, but this week alone, we've had listeners in the U.S., Canada, Germany, Turkey, that's kind of new, and the U.K. So, yeah, like, we're
crushing.
I guess we have to step it up some more.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go for the past year, because we're doing, like, a recap of 2021 and everything we did, which 2021 has been a big year for us because it really is the first year of us working together in a practice and doing the podcast for an entire year. We're coming up on our 100th episode really soon.
It feels like it was a really busy year.
Oh, can we plan that before the second half so we can tell people
what we're gonna do for that? Yeah, totally.
Brainstorm that.
But I just wanted to before we do that, I just want to go over some of the countries that we've had listen to us in the past year, because when I look at this list, I get like
excited,
amazed.
Okay, go. Do it.
Okay, ready? The U.S., of course, Canada, Australia, Bahamas, United Kingdom, Ireland, Germany, Spain, Netherlands, Belgium, Mexico, Singapore, Switzerland, Denmark, South Africa, Russian Federation, Dominican Republic, Macau, India, Cyprus, Portugal, Jamaica, Pakistan, Poland, Italy, Turkey, Serbia, Colombia, this is just still going, Egypt, Ethiopia, Norway,
Definitely more than
Austria, Bangladesh, Grenada,
Sorry,
Japan, Sweden, Antigua and Barbuda, and Ukraine.
Awesome.
These are all places where we've had listeners within the past year, which I find
fascinating.
super fascinating.
People must be really bored.
No.
Yes.
Slim pickings in the podcast world.
Or we're just that exciting.
We're not that excited. I don't think we're that excited.
Maybe we
I
make
don't know.
people feel good about themselves because they're like, oh, look at these hot messes that are living their lives.
I don't know. You guys make me feel good about myself most of the time.
It's fair.
Most of the time.
Only when you only when it's valid.
Only when you don't come home from Mexico when you're supposed to.
Sometimes that happens.
It's fine. Ended up being a beautiful birth.
Beautiful
Yeah.
birth.
She did not have her baby till several days after I got home. And
Thank goodness.
yeah, and I think we're gonna tell her birth story
Do you want to do that today?
in
or-
the second half.
Cool.
And we'll also talk about some episodes we have coming up so that you guys can start writing in because we have some really good
Well, let's
ideas.
do that right now because we have like 5 minutes left before our break right now.
Oh, nice.
So we're definitely going to be doing our transitions episode
Mhm.
really soon.
Yeah.
We're going to do a whole birth story episode because we have so many births that we haven't been talking about.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully we'll have more by the time we record that episode too. We have a
Yeah.
couple in our
Or
radar,
not.
too.
I'm fine with it.
Well, I
If
don't
we
think you have a choice. I don't think you're gonna be going. Well, you might be going to one of them.
Not
Yeah.
for a while. It's fine.
And then we're definitely doing an episode about twins.
Yeah.
So if there's anybody out there who has stories they would like to share about twin births or just things about having twins in general that you would like to share with
Yeah.
the world, feel free to email us at wineaboutbirth@gmail.com or private message us on any of our social media.
Yeah, on Instagram and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
I just saw on social media that there were twins born in separate years because one was born in 2021
that's
and one was born in
fun.
2022.
Yeah, they're like 15 minutes apart,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That probably happens a lot.
And then Kim, you wanted to do. We're gonna do an episode. I'm really excited about this one
Yeah.
about teen pregnancy, which is definitely a subject that is like near and dear to Kimberly's heart.
Why? No.
Because she was one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to do if anybody else out there like has had a baby as a teen, like write in. I want to talk about when I was in school. I did a whole research, like kind of like a blog thing before blogs were a thing. I used my actual video camera to walk around and
How was
interview
the
people.
lighting?
The lighting was better than what we have currently because I lived in Florida, and so I just bombarded people
It's
like at
always
the park.
sunny.
Yeah. So that was, I think that'll be really interesting to go over like how it was then, even 10 years ago, like the perceptions
Like if
of
it's
what
more
it's like
acceptable now than it was back then.
Yeah.
I think the teen pregnancy rates are dropping though.
Yeah, and it's also, it seems to be a little more, I don't want to say common, but it's like, oh, not a big deal.
Or also, I feel like it probably might feel more common because like we have more access to information than we used to. So like social media, and now there's like whole shows about it. So I feel like
Yeah.
it might not be as, it might be less common, but more accessible than it was.
Gotcha.
It might be interesting too, like if you do education around teen pregnancy. So if you're a provider who has a lot of teen moms, like talking about like the challenges of that as well. Like not so much just hearing from the moms themselves, but also from people who support teen moms would be really interesting.
I do really want to hear like stories of teen moms and like the things that helped you, things people said to you, things that didn't help you. To just like open up that conversation about how we can either support people in a tough part of their life into becoming better versions of themselves, or we can like beat them down into not being as good of versions of
Or,
themselves
like,
they could.
Yeah, just creating like a shame culture where it's like really inappropriate and not necessary.
So much.
Shame
So much we could talk
culture.
about in that department. I also want to tackle the episode that I've been wanting to do on J. Marion Sims, the father of gynecology.
Oh yeah.
That's a big one.
It's a big one. So it's just with all this stuff that's been going on this year, I feel like I put it aside because I I felt like it deserved more attention than the time that I had with all this new stuff we have going on. But I would like to ask, and we can start now with it, and we'll do social media posts, but I would like women of color, families of color, like if you're listening, writing in with examples of how being a person of color just makes it more difficult for you to get maternity care and
or to feel safe accessing care.
Yeah, just anything, because I just don't think the majority of our listeners are likely middle class white women, probably.
Yeah. Just because that's like what we see mostly is out of hospital providers. That's the community that we primarily serve. So,
but there is just such a division and such a gap. Like, we need to step in and fill that gap. So who better to talk about that than the women of color who are listening? Or if you have a friend that's been through pregnancy or just been through whatever, just have them write in, because I think that unless you've experienced it firsthand, it's really hard to know like how difficult it can be, or what is helpful or what is not helpful, and things like that. So just like teenage pregnancy, like, let's talk about how we can better serve.
Let's create a space for others to share, since we don't have the personal experience necessarily to bring to the table.
Right, because I'm the last person that can sit here and talk to you about disparities in healthcare for women of color, because I'm a privileged woman of no color. So I just need to acknowledge that. Like, I want to do an episode on this topic, but I'm the least qualified to speak on this topic. So we need women of color to speak on this topic.
So please, like, if anybody wants a platform, like, know that we're here to support that, and let us know if you want to have space on that platform.
Yeah. But it is time for us to go to break on that note, and when we come back, we'll give some more birth stories of the week and talk a little bit more about the upcoming year.
Perfect.
Hit the button.
Oh,
You
so
can do
hard.
If I was, it would have been like,
What was that?
I wouldn't have stopped.
That's true. You just keep going.
And then laughs about it.
Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back from that delightful break.
You do so good at that.
Thanks. I'm good at some things.
I'm going to see if Lucy will behave to record.
No, she's already chewing on the cords.
You know what I am getting better at? Online charting.
Yeah, you are. She did so good.
Good job, you.
It was so nice to go home on Christmas and not have to chart. It was magical.
Because we had a Christmas baby.
We did. It was so beautiful.
I will say that I was really trying to make up for other inadequacies in my life, so it gave me a little bit of a,
I like it when you fuck up.
Inadequacies.
We'll never get good online charts ever again.
No. Now I'm gonna have to keep doing it, because apparently my screw was big enough that I'm going to be making up for it for at least the next year. And by then I'll be used to online charting.
Is that your New Year's resolution? Is to make it up to us for the next year?
Yes. Let's prove to you that I can be reliable.
It is a very big undertaking. That is and you know what else? I'm not going to have a single anxiety attack.
Okay. So
wow, is that your resolution then?
So yeah, we decided we were going to come back. We were going to each talk about one New Year's resolution.
Wah, wah, wah. I hate New Year's resolutions.
I don't even do them ever.
I used to, and I gave up because I literally never do them, so I just get disappointed.
I don't really do New Year's resolutions because I do feel like that's a lot of pressure, but I will say that with all the transitions we're going through, I was like, this time of year, this is the things that I want to be happening for me for my next year moving forward.
I'm excited to hear these.
Yeah. Well, why don't you go first?
Why would she when you're all excited and actually have some?
Oh.
Go ahead.
I actually don't know if I planned what I was going to say.
Alright, I'll go first. I don't do resolutions, but I do feel like probably for one of the first times in forever, I've given myself permission to just be at home and focus on my house, because Terrence and I have a bit of a fixer-upper, and we keep losing, I literally was supposed to go paint yesterday all day. I was so excited, and then all this admin stuff came up for work that I didn't get to do, and so I'm still working on being better about this, but I have given myself permission to just spend the winter working on my house. I'm so excited. I don't need to go on any trips. I don't need to go attend any friends. If we end up going to Key West, that's fine. I'd be really happy if that happened.
Oh, I forgot about
I would also be
but
very happy if that happened.
I'm okay with not going on any trips through the winter and just focusing on my house.
Not likely.
Yeah, but maybe. So anyways.
It would make my entire life worth living, though.
Yeah.
You just did that in Mexico.
I was gonna say, and there goes the reliability.
And there goes that.
No, because if we go, there's something about traveling with you guys. Remember how magical
so
it was
magic.
the last time we went to
I know,
Key
Kim
West?
does not remember how
No, I
magical.
know. Which part was magical? The part where I drank
That
the
was the
entire
tampon hanging out of
bottle.
you on the bathroom
You
floor.
know it was
the
still
magical
magical
part.
despite all
when
your
I
anxiety
sloshed
attacks.
around like a
Honestly,
seal with a tampon string hanging out of
The
me.
most magical part was the breakfast. I know you didn't
Oh yes.
remember lots of it, but the breakfast above and beyond was the most magical
That
part.
I did really enjoy daytime.
Yes.
It's when the sun goes down that I start to panic.
We'll be grooving.
Except not, she'll be panicking.
Or that time where I drank the entire bottle of rum.
No, you did not. You didn't drink the whole thing. You just drank most of it.
Okay, it was a lot. Puked.
And we were also in a
all
hot
over.
tub for like 3 hours.
But you do know every time we travel together, it's just magical being with you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like just sitting on an airplane and talking without being interrupted.
Yes, that's
so
why
nice.
it would make my whole life.
We
get
are
to go
going on a
guys.
trip together this year.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I already booked my ticket.
Oh, you mean for in November?
Yeah, in November. I'll be speaking at the Midwifery Wisdom Retreat Conference.
Yes.
And I'm very excited
And
about
we are
that.
planning on joining her there for some of it, or some of it.
So we might just hang out in the hotel room while she's there.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm
I
actually
am
going to do it.
super
but
excited.
I will be in Texas.
It's the first time I'll be, well, when I was pregnant with Brock, I think, or Evie. Either way, I was gone for a little while, but it'll be 10 days.
Yeah.
Girl time, girl retreat,
trip.
10 days.
So I'm going to say my New Year's resolution is that, I mean, I know I've talked a little bit about the transition I'm going through.
Take a drink.
Okay.
Cheers.
But mine is to really figure out what I want to. So I've had a lot more time to myself lately, and I feel like when I first had kids, you know, when you first have kids and you have another kid, you feel like you're never gonna have time to yourself ever again. And then all of a sudden, recently, I've had all this time on my hands where my kids aren't around and I'm just by myself. And so it's like, really...
What is it like? What does it feel like?
See, I thought it was going to be a lot more exciting than it is.
Yeah. No, it's so
I mean,
boring. It's gloriously boring.
It's gloriously boring. So it's really from me this year. My resolution is to be comfortable in my own skin, just being by myself and learning how to fill that time and not
productively.
and also like just feeling okay not being around other people. Like I feel like all my life I feel like I need to be around other people all the time to like fill in the space with like noise.
Yeah.
And it's like learning how to be comfortable with just me.
I feel like the river is your
that.
place of power in that. I feel like you already like have a place where you can go and do that really healthily. So
Where? I didn't hear what you said.
the river.
Oh, the river, yeah. But that usually
Any
lasts
body of
for
water, really.
maybe like an hour, especially in the winter time.
That's fair.
It just needs to be across the board.
You know what would make it so nice though is when it's warm. If it was easier to kayak by myself. It's really
I know.
difficult to do that.
And
like,
I'm the worst. I keep
returning and
saying that we're gonna
coming.
go and then we don't go. So
I haven't been kayaking since I kayaked. It was either the ocean when I lived in Florida because we did that, or the mangroves. Mangroves.
Kayaking
Mangroves.
through the mangroves. Hey,
So amazing.
if we go to Key West,
We're
would you
definitely
guys go
doing that.
kayaking in the mangroves?
I would
Absolutely.
1,000% do
Because
that.
I did that
Yes.
with my sister and it was so magical.
It's like one of my favorite
Yes.
things I've ever done.
It was
except for-
actually the reason why I disappointed you guys and did not get on the airplane in Key West.
I don't believe you.
We don't have to talk about that.
No, we don't.
We don't have to
Kayaked
bring
in
up
the
old
Doesn't
dates.
matter what you say.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it was worth it.
It was.
No.
It was a lifelong
No.
friend disappointment.
You know
worth
it'll
those 3
always
days.
be worth it for Jess. That can't be an option.
Well, I get angry and jealous of Jess's like ability to be free
Her magical
because
fairiness.
I don't have that at all.
You also would never give yourself permission to do that if you had the opportunity.
No. I would. My OCD would never allow for that. But you know, I keep saying like, "This is the year about me. This is when I'm going to do this." But this year,
You actually have done a lot for
I
yourself.
have.
this
So
year.
the last year was really about me trying to figure out what I wanted in my life, like what my dreams and my goals were. So this past year, I actually spent a lot of time freaking out and just working constantly and then figuring it out. And I'm super excited because, and we'll talk about it in the transitions episode, that I have a lot of stuff coming up.
I won't make you drink for naming that episode.
Open coming.
Why? I
take a drink.
will, though.
We can't do this on this
Look,
actual
my
episode,
glass-
or else
Okay.
we will never get through it.
My glass says
Naughty, like that Santa that was spanking my butt in our picture.
Oh my god, you
right.
guys look so hot in that picture.
Chuck got so mad at me because I love myself as a human, and I will,
as you should.
I will romp naked. I love who I am. I'm a short, curvy chick. But that picture, I looked so tiny, like itty bitty.
You look so hot.
As
soon as I took it, I was like, Kim, you look.
You're not
fantastic.
a big person at all, but like literally the way that you were, I was like,
I don't
did
know
she
how I did it.
Photoshop that? Like,
Yes.
how did she get that beautiful, perfect?
Yeah,
I was like,
I don't look
that's
like
just her
that.
beautiful, perfect line. She is crushing that Santa.
I know, and I don't too. That is not me. I don't know how it worked out that
looks
way,
so
but
good.
I said we got in the car and I was like, man, that's the best picture I think I've ever taken. And
I know.
Chuck got so mad. He goes, "You think that's the best picture?"
He's like,
you've
just
ever
love
taken?"
your fucking body for
You're
fuck's sake.
You're so beautiful, and I fucking hate it when you say stuff like that. And I was like, this is why
I
have
love
such
it when Chuck gets mad at you for not loving yourself.
I'm like, Chuck, I do love myself, but I love myself as a short, curvy hobbit. It's who I am. Like,
Short, curvy, hot woman.
Anyway, so 2022, I've got all my dreams and goals set up, and I've already taken the first step
Ready
for all
to
of
go.
them. So 2022 is my year to just see those
Manifest.
things through, yes, and be organized, because if y'all could see the rest of this shithole of a room right now, it is unbelievable.
I mean, in your defense, like, your room is the first thing
Catch
to go
up.
when you are organizing other parts of
I
your
know,
life.
it's so
It
bad.
just means that
So-
you're really doing well in other parts of your life,
Yeah,
too.
so I'm organizing. So I'm getting all the practice stuff organized. My course stuff is organized. My book, I am working really, really hard on getting it finished. So this is my year of like organization and seeing things through.
Setting things in place for the future.
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it.
I'm also doing that. I will say that last night we were at the Legion. Kim went on a date with Chuck, and I did not know she was at the Legion.
Story of our lives.
I was across the road at the Box Office Brewery.
Yeah, but
and
he
then-
abandoned me, and
And then Kim was like,
And then you guys got to
I'm
go
over
on a date.
at the Legion, you should come over here. And I was like...
And Jess was like, why didn't you tell me 2 hours ago?
and then Chuck was like, "Did you tell Jess that you were there, or did you, or whatever?" And I was like, "No, I waited." And then
manifested her because that's
yes,
who we are.
I said she was across the street at Box Office, and then you left me to go hang out with the guys, and I
Yeah.
was just sitting there, and so I texted Jess, and
Yeah.
she was across the street. So then here we are.
And so I went to Box
So far.
Office, and then there was another person there, and Kim was like talking to me, and you were like wearing like your little like snow hat. And you were,
Oh my
like,
god, I love when you
You
have
were like
wait,
talking,
the red one.
talking.
No.
No, it was like one with air
Oh, okay, I
flaps
was
and
gonna say the
everything.
red one we could do without.
My mom
but-
gave me this intense snow bunny hat. It's fur,
Snow
faux
bunny.
fur, like the whole inside is fur, and the ear flaps come
Oh,
down.
you
but
probably
then,
look like a little rabbit.
and then the ear flaps come all the way down past your boobs, and it's like big ball on top. So I'm just like,
And so she's just like talking and telling stories, and I was just like, you know, that's my best friend.
I love her so much.
I love her so much. Just look at her. And then
oh, he
Chuck's,
was a dentist.
Chuck's across the bar. And Chuck's like, yeah, man, she's the best. I love her so much.
I felt very loved last night.
Yeah, as you
And then-
should.
I can't remember his name, the dentist guy that we met.
Russ.
Russ, and Russ and I decided that we were going to open a new practice called Tops and Bottoms. I was like, you could do the top orifice and I'll take care of the bottom orifice. Between the two of us, we got it all covered. And I thought he was going to spit out his beer.
Well-rounded care.
I was like, I'll put champagne on a tray and hand it to all of our customers in the waiting room.
Yeah, that's it. It'll be great.
Yeah. So.
Anyway.
Our list of business ideas we have not moved forward with is quickly expanding.
I have so many good ideas that would make money. I just don't
We
have
just
the
don't
time.
like. We just don't like making
Eventually.
money.
I know.
Eventually.
We just don't like
Yeah,
money.
we'll do it. I like money. I just don't like putting things into
Making
fruition to
the
make
work
it.
happen.
Okay. So we are supposed to tell some birth stories of
Ooh.
the week.
Can I make a birth announcement?
Yeah.
Katie, who I already posted on Facebook, but we've been attending births together for almost 6 years now. She's the nurse at Premier, and she's so awesome. And she, a couple months ago, decided that she was going to become a midwife. And I'm like, for years, I'm like, just catch the baby. You're a nurse. You're allowed to do that. Like, do the exam. Do this. She's like, no. I really feel like it's just not part of my scope. So she finally decided she was going to become a midwife, which is like super exciting. And
She's going to be so good
Yeah.
at it.
I mean, she's already so
she
good
already,
at it.
I'm like, it's essentially you are a midwife.
Yeah.
You just don't do the hands-on stuff right now because you always let me do the fun
yeah,
stuff.
but she has all the like knowledge to bring to
Oh,
the
yeah.
table.
So we last night she caught her first. Oh, yesterday.
I was gonna ask if
caught her first baby on purpose.
Aw, yay!
She caught one once it fell out. You know, she didn't
But
have
this
a
was
choice.
purposely.
This one was planned, and it's so funny because I'm like, tell me how you felt, like what tell me. And she said it's just funny because when you're thinking as a midwife instead of a student or instead of a nurse, I would imagine, because I've never been a nurse before, but it's like she just was like, oh, I just thought this. And then this happened, so it's like when you're thinking in the other role.
Yeah, your perception shifts.
Yeah, like
your perception definitely has to shift in every role you're in, because it's like that for me as a doula and as a birth assistant. It's like totally different ways of thinking.
So it just sounded like all these little sparks were like lighting in her brain, and then
she's got like all these different experiences, and now they can start connecting, which is like super powerful.
Because she has seen hundreds of births, so then for her hands to feel what she's seeing, it's like really cool. And I just, you know how I love.
So excited.
I know.
And emotional to think about.
I was super stoked. Like I was cheering, and then I was typing like assisted by Katie Black, and I'm like, it just makes
really good job of online charting.
Yes, I was. I did. I mastered
it
it.
On her hands.
And I handed her a blanket. Usually I just stand there and do nothing.
Yeah, you just smile at us like I'm not doing anything.
But it just makes me so happy because I love to teach and I love to watch, like, this is why, like, I'm doing all this preceptor stuff. Like, I love to see the little light that just sparks in someone's eyes. Like, and it happens to the partners when they catch their own baby. It's like this whole new experience. It's just like so amazing, and it just brings me so much joy to see other people feel that. And then what really made me happy is after the fact, postpartum, Katie, I was like, I'm not going to tell them you're a student. I'm not going to say anything. We're just going to, let it happen like, organically and see how it flows out. And then Katie goes, I have to tell you, I recently decided to be a student, and that was my first baby that I actually got to catch. And the mom was just like, well, you were just like phenomenal. Like, I never would have known that. Like, thank you. You're so amazing. And I was like, yes.
I think it also helps, and I think it goes back to like our episodes about preceptorship or whatever. When a student feels safe with the person who are like precepting for them, that it makes so much easier for those lights to come on. So you guys have been working,
because you're not like feeling defensive or like guarding yourself.
So you guys have been working together for 5 or 6 years, so you're used to doing births together, and this is just like a natural next step.
It was weird to like
shift
right
gears.
Like she kept standing. I'm like, well, if you're gonna, because she would naturally do
like step back to like
her
be
own,
available to grab like
like she's like, oh, I'll go get the ice before I could get it, and then I was like, you might not want to do that. I think she's pushing, and this was not her first baby, and she's like, no, I'm gonna go get us coffee. So she like races down and brings up like fresh coffee, and then the mom, like, we look at each other because we hear the mom pushing, and I'm like, you gotta get closer.
Get on in there.
I'm like pushing her in. It's like, oh, okay, it's awesome.
Yeah, you've brought so many awesome midwives into our community. Like, we're super lucky to have you as a preceptor. That's not what I meant. That's not what I was.
So
I was not thinking of myself when I said that.
You were also not talking in the microphone.
Sorry, let me clarify.
At all.
I had my head itch. I'm sorry. I was not talking about myself when I said that.
Yeah, because you're not
this
amazing.
This is Meredith. La 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 la.
It's like when I have to make eye contact when I'm talking about my feelings, there's just like all over the place.
So let's
talk about Christmas birth?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that it's been very interesting. My last 3 births that I've attended have all been on their due date. So the babies were born on their due date. Which almost never happens to me. I think maybe in my 16-year career before this, it happened 1 or 2 times, and it's literally been. It might have been even my 4 last births I did were on their due date.
Is it 3% or 7%? I keep hearing different numbers.
I was like 5.
See? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's just call it less than 8.
Yes.
Less than 8.
Good idea.
More than 1.
Yes.
At Walmart, I read something that said, because they had these little facts up, and it said 2 to 3%.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
what part of Walmart?
I don't know. I don't remember what Walmart I was in. It was like a
hanging. In the fitting room.
It was like a hanging TV, and it was like fun fact, and I was like, oh that is a fun fact.
That's interesting.
So yeah, this lady was due on Christmas, second baby.
And there was like a little, it wasn't like drama leading up to it, but it was like, I hadn't planned on taking anybody in December because of my friend in Atlanta, but this lady was actually a really dear friend of a friend. And so I took her on for that reason because I really wanted to support her because she had like she had a really phenomenal hospital birth with her first and like knew she would just like crush a home birth. And so it was really cool that we got to be a part of that with her. But it was like really stressful because I felt terrible. I like was convinced I was going to miss this birth, which is fine. Like you have to let that go as a provider. It's not about you.
Because when we took her on, we had already explained like
she came on knowing that I was going to be in Atlanta. So it was fine, but we'd actually gotten really close through her pregnancy. At least I felt that way because, like, she's friends with a friend of mine, so we, like, did the Christmas parade together and stuff, so we just became, like, friends over time. And so I went, and I didn't want to feel rushed to leave my friends in Atlanta, but it just happened to be that by Christmas Eve, I'd already been with them for about 5 days, and at some point, like, even though I feel like I could stay with them forever, you, like, want to step back so they can, like, figure out what their new normal is, as a family.
And Kim had also left for her vacation, so there was a backup midwife that wasn't you or Kim.
Right, and also that was kind of a hot mess, too, because, like, she was really busy, so it just, like, made sense to come home. Plus, like, Penny was like, when are you coming home for Christmas? And so I got in the car, so this poor mom and I were texting, like, every day. Like, she's like, no baby yet, going to walking at Costco, but no baby yet. So, like, it was just both on our minds that, like, we were still kind of hoping it would work out. And so I got in the car on the 23rd at, like, 6 p.m. and did, like, the 10-hour drive. So I got home in Winchester at, like, Christmas Eve at 3 a.m. And so that day was crazy. Like, slept and then, like, had the day with Penny and Terrence and his family for Christmas Eve, and that was really great. And then the mom started texting at, like, 3 in the morning on Christmas Day.
And you got it? You still get texts, right?
So I did not, because I tell all my clients, don't text me, call me. But around 7, I started waking up to the texts. And then she'd been having contractions through the night and was just doing an amazing job. And her friend.
Well, you had gotten some kind of text because you texted me at some point at the
maybe I think it must have been like at 5 when I started.
You texted me at some point in the middle of the night, and you said, "Just a heads up. Blah 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 is having this going on. I'm not sure. I'm telling her to rest."
Maybe I did wake up to those texts actually.
Yeah, and so you sent me a text.
Usually
and then I fell immediately back to sleep and slept all night.
Yeah, so I guess it's true. Maybe I did wake up, but it, like, she has a doula, so I also was just like, you know, like, if you're, because this mom, like, didn't want me to, like, and, like, didn't want anyone to touch her, like, didn't want us in the room, wanted to put headphones on so she didn't have to hear anything, like, wanted very much to, like, be alone, wanted to get your own baby.
Oh, that's what you said to me. You texted me in the middle of the night, and you said, her doula's heading there now. I'm gonna see what's going on, but just heads up, it might happen. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I did the same thing. So, like, I was texting with them at, like, 3 in the morning. Her doula was there and saying, like, things were happening, but it was, like, still, like, consistent, but not, like, she wasn't ready for us to come yet. And then woke up at 7 to their texting being like, hey, okay, it's time. So, but another crazy part of this is this friend of ours who was her doula woke her kids up at 3 a.m. and did Christmas with them.
That's right.
In case we were there all day.
Because it was Christmas. It
was Christmas morning. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was like, you are insane. I was like, all right, well, that sounds fun. I'm going back to sleep. And then I pulled a dress and just fell back asleep until 7.
They did their Christmas at 3 a.m.?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Yeah, and her daughter wakes up at 3 anyway sometimes, so I don't know. Anyway, she's insane. She's like this beautiful superhero mom, and she's a mess, and I love her dearly. So anyways, so we get to the house. Actually, Jess got there before me because she's a better human than I am and lives closer.
Sometimes.
And walk in, and like she's definitely in it. Like she's vocalizing, like if not in transition, like very close to it. And then, of course, 7 o'clock rolls around, and her son comes running down the stairs for Christmas morning.
Day.
And she's, like, on her birth ball next to the Christmas tree, like, doing hip circles, doing beautiful verbalization. And honestly, we're just, like, all leaving her alone. Like, we were in the kitchen hanging out. Like, we weren't even really in there. And so her son comes downstairs, and Jess and I, like, look at each other. We're like, oh, no.
This is going to stall.
Like, labor's going to stop.
Which it did kind of slow down.
For, like, 15 minutes.
Yeah. But then her mom took the kids,
Yeah.
and left.
But my favorite part of this was, like, she was, like, laboring and watching him open his gifts, and she was, like, being so sweet. Like, I don't know how anybody could have done this, but, like, he's opening his gifts, and she's like, oh, that's awesome, love. Like, that's so exciting. While she's laboring and verbalizing.
And so close to having her baby.
Yeah, so close. And then finally at one point I hear her, when her mom, like, I think it was her husband's mom showed up to take her son away. Finally I heard her say, like, get out or something.
I think it was her mom. It was her mom.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so anyways, but it was like she finally heard her say, like, get out. I was like, wow, I think I would have said that. Like, I would have never let them come down the stairs.
Go away.
Yeah. So, and then,
and her
like,
mom was so sweet. So sweet.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I'm just gonna...
like, lollygagging
la,
hard.
la, 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 la. And she's like, leave now.
Yeah. It was really great.
The poltergeist.
And then she got in the birth tub, and then she had the baby within
an hour.
Within an hour, yeah. And it was really, this was an interesting one, because, like, I've had moms who, like, don't want you to touch them before, you know, and, like, don't want you to talk to them. But, like, it definitely seemed like...
See, we can cut that out of the podcast,
Yeah, we
but not out of the video.
I think you technically can. So, I don't know, and I'm curious, like, she says that she didn't mind that I was, like, talking to her and stuff, but definitely, like, at the end it got really intense, and I felt called to, like, reassure her that everything was normal, everything was okay.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing, because you had told me she really wanted everything to be hands-off, and she didn't want, but at the end, there was kind of, like, that feeling of, like, okay, she needs more
Yeah, like, there was
reassurance and help.
The intensity was there, and it just, I think she would have been fine on her own, but I also, at the end, I don't think she regretted that there were people there.
But I remember at one point she was like, who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah. And she was staring at her friend because it was her friend's idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I was just like, everyone told me to stay away, so I'm going to stay away.
Yeah.
Because at some point I was like, I'm feeling the need to doula so hard, but I'm just going to sit over here on this birth ball because I was told not to.
Yeah, and she had a doula, and, like, it was great.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, we all were kind of, like, around her.
Yeah, and it wasn't because her doula wasn't douling. It's just
right.
Like,
it's hard to witness somebody get into that stage of, like, kind of panic a little bit.
And that's what you're used to doing.
Yes.
Like, you're drawn to it like a magnet.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
let me come help with that.
Yes,
And I was like, that's not my job right now.
No,
I'm going to do some
I'm
more
going to go sit behind this half
online
wall and do some charting.
Online charting.
I'm going to make this online chart so beautiful.
So, yeah, and then she wanted to catch the baby, and so as the baby was coming out, I was like, all right, Mama, reach down and catch your baby. She's like, no.
I don't want to catch my baby.
So then I, like, looked her, and I knew her husband didn't, but sometimes, like, they change their minds in the last minute. So I, like, looked at him and, like, do you want to catch your baby? And he's like, no. And so I ended up catching, which was fun.
But after the baby actually came out, you were like, reach down and pull the baby up. So
that's
you
true.
gave more help than she had been wanting when she was
But she
pregnant.
still pulled her baby
But
up.
she still pulled her baby
Yeah,
up.
and this kid was so cute. Like,
oh my gosh.
also, it
so
took
cute.
a little bit to come around, though. Like, definitely was one of the longer babies to come around than
transition
usual.
for breathing. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was like you could tell the baby was there. Like, eyes were wide open, staring at mom, but definitely like did not want to pick up right away. But it would end up being fine. And yeah, mom. Also, this mom is like probably one of the most stunning moms that I've worked with. Like, and all of her photos, even those where she's like really intensely like drinking water, or, like pushing or whatever, she just looks absolutely stunning. And she had like the best birth hair I've ever seen.
So stunning.
Yeah.
Oh man.
She was just amazing, and it was just great because she like had her whole setup downstairs on the couch. So we literally just like put her on the couch, and then she just stayed there until like she might still be there. Who knows? But it was really sweet to like witness her friend, who's a dear friend of mine, also like getting to support her and like knowing that this was the right path for her and like being affirmed in that, and it was like really sweet.
And getting to support her birth, because I was like, I think she's gonna get the doula bug from this.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see.
Because she was another client of ours who we helped her have her VBAC baby, who we've talked about before. So it was like, it was so cool watching her like support somebody else through labor and how passionate she was.
Yeah, and
about
she's
it.
so invested in this lady too, because they're like super good friends. So it was really sweet.
Yeah.
We were talking about it afterwards actually, because the doula kept telling her to flip.
Shut
around.
the door.
Well, can you come help me right now?
In just a minute, we're still.
Right now.
Oh God, your kid's the worst.
Sorry. Go on.
we were talking about it a lot afterwards, because I don't remember this, but the doula kept being like, you can flip over and like change positions, because she kept like doing that thing where she was arching her back, and like I feel like that's when they're trying to get the baby under their pubic bone.
Yeah.
But also it did kind of, you know, she seemed uncomfortable, but like at the same time your baby's coming out of your vagina, like it's really uncomfortable.
It's a lot.
But the doula was like, I feel like, she was like, I just kept telling her to flip over, and it, like you just kept staring. I was like, I don't feel like I was shooting you daggers. Like, I also just felt like she wasn't gonna move.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But I think that's when it's like, I also feel like it can be very intimidating, because she knows like we work together a lot, and this is like her first time coming in and supporting in a birth, so I can feel like it'd be very intimidating. It's like, I want to say this, but what if it's not the right thing to say? So it's like looking for validation that you're doing the right thing as well.
I just really did not think that she was gonna move, so I was like, it's working, so it's not gonna change anything.
Just sometimes they do such a good job, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I was back here drinking coffee and charting.
Mm-hmm.
And charting like a boss.
It was so good. So yeah, it was great, and then it was such a nice day too. We like had her sliding glass door open, and the breeze was coming
like 60
in.
degrees.
And then we were home by like 1 o'clock on Christmas Day. It was really nice.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. It was a very nice birth to do coming back from my Mexican trip.
And we got sushi.
That's right. It was one of those. They're like,
They bought you sushi?
Yeah. They're like, where do you want to get sushi from? And it was like,
gosh.
it was right near our favorite sushi restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, they're probably open
Steven
on
City?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah!
So
I've
we
had
all
that
got
forever.
sushi.
He keeps
and
asking me for sushi.
Ate it, and it was delicious.
It was so
And
delightful.
also ate it.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite photos from that is she's sitting on the couch eating sushi and drinking a beer.
Oh yeah. She was like, "Can I have a beer?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Can we post that picture? Can we get
I
that?
can ask her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's like eating she got the sushi that's like
The sashimi.
It's like the sashimi, but it's shaped in like a little rose. So she had like 3 roses of like raw fish on her plate. She's like, I can finally eat sushi again. And then she's like holding a beer.
Oh, that's so
It's
amazing!
like, yes!
Yeah, I love
It
that.
was awesome.
Merry Christmas, mother.
They were open on Christmas?
Did you hear
Yeah.
what she just said?
Oh, I
I
did.
kind of edited it. It was like,
Yeah.
It was
You started
very
out strong.
light edit.
It's kind of like when you go to yell at the kids, you're like, guys, I said, could you please not do that?
I don't know. I've seen her get really
What?
aggressive recently.
Yeah, you've gotten a lot more aggressive.
I'm working on it. You guys say I need to, so.
Yeah.
You
Here
do
we
need
are,
to work
too.
on your aggressive. But you have to find that you can't attack
Appropriate
people
outlets.
like you did when you finally lost it to that tow truck guy.
Oh yeah, that was a special situation.
It was. So you can't. There's
Hopefully
got
that
to be
situation will never rise
in the
again.
middle.
Yeah.
I would like to see that actually. I saw Meredith get like that once. I'd like to see you get like
I
that.
was wasted when
I
I
hope
did
I
that
never
though.
get like that again.
You're right. I shouldn't hope that on you.
So guys, the magical time has come where we actually are done with this episode.
Oh well, lucky.
Hey, can I tell you
listeners.
something I heard for the first time at a birth the other day? But
Yeah.
it was not a dangerous moment.
Yeah.
I
I'm
can
gonna-
do this.
I'm going to tell you, and you're going to be like, how is that not a dangerous moment? I had one of the most calm, beautiful, amazing births I've seen in a really long time, and the baby's heart rate was only 60.
Oh.
like prolonged.
Mm-mm. No. After
Like
he
after
came out.
he came out.
Oh.
Do you remember though when we transferred baby for a really low heart rate and they were like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah, well,
was the
that was the
baby-
respiration rate.
Was the baby just
No,
like
there was
looking
time that we did that for
around
heart rate
and
as well.
totally fine, but the heart rate
Yes.
was low?
So okay, so that's just like their normal,
No,
or like
no,
it
no,
picked
no,
back
no.
up.
No, it was definitely not normal, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to need the bag, please, because I was like, well, go
You're
ahead
like,
and...
At this point, we should be starting chest compression.
Oh,
No,
I'm sorry.
no,
so
because-
baby wasn't like
no,
alert.
first you have to do PPV.
You have to do PPV for 30 seconds.
Yes.
So I asked for the bag, and while she was getting it, I stimulated the baby.
Yeah, and they picked
And
up.
when she came back in, I listened, and it was like already 120. But it was so surreal to hear. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
And you're
And I was
like
like,
checking your watch or
okay.
your phone or whatever, and you're like, "Is that?"
That's not what we like to hear.
That's not gonna be enough for
That's
me.
Was
But-
at the birth, like, did you feel like as the baby was coming out that you were anticipating having, like, were there D cells?
Well, it was no. The birth, it was absolutely perfect, but it was one of those like amazing, beautiful mom led, everything, and so from head to toe, it was like 2 minutes. It was
Okay.
like itty bitty at a time.
Yeah.
Bleep, bleep.
Itty bitty at a time in the water.
Yeah.
No way for the baby to
So the
breathe
kid
yet.
was just like, I don't even know I'm here yet.
Right, so I think that, you know, just this is how when you swim a baby in the water for a while, which I don't ever do, but because it took so long for the baby to come out, I think their body just naturally kind of shuts down a little bit to preserve itself. So it was just really freaking cool to see. Because the color was perfect.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
And the baby was breathing. Like,
Yeah.
So spoiler
slow
alert,
motion.
everything was fine. And
So good.
we should tell that whole birth story.
I'm going to ask permission for that.
As a birth story of the week if we get permission.
Mm-hmm.
But it really is time to close out this
Fine.
episode.
Happy New Year, everyone.
So is there anything
Happy
that we want to
New
say? I
Year.
want to say cheers to everybody on 2022 being better than 2021.
2022 is going to
2020.
be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
It's going to be the year
It's gonna
of
be
us.
May.
Just keep on hoping, friends.
Yes. And for all you people out there who we get to attend your births and for being amazing and catching your babies and doing all the things and letting us see that.
Here's to another year of babies and moms and families.
Cheers. And check us out on YouTube because we're finally there.
YouTube.
Cheers.
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 Clink,
Clink, clink, clink, clink.
Clang, clang.
Mother.
clink, clink, clink.
Swish,
She
swish.
said it again.
Clang, clang.
I can stop it now, right?
only stick with eyeballs.